Hey friend, welcome back to another episode of the Fasting Focused Lifestyle podcast. And I'm so grateful that you are here listening with me today. And today I want to talk about something that really is foundational to this lifestyle. I've talked about it a little bit, but I want to readdress it and really give it the attention it deserves within this episode. And it's something that gets lost in the noise, but really when you understand it, it will unlock everything for you. And I'm talking about the real history of fasting. And it's not going to be what you see in those trendy reels or fad diets, but the truth, which is deeply rooted, time-tested, and is a sacred origin of fasting. Because here's the thing, fasting is absolutely not a trend. It's not something that's shiny and new, and it's definitely not something that got invented along TikTok or biohacking influencers. Fasting is ancient, it's human, and it might just be the oldest wellness tool we've ever had. Ready to hear more? Stay tuned. Welcome to the Fasting Focused Lifestyle podcast, where we will explore how a simplified practice of fasting can positively influence your entire body, mind, and lifestyle, helping you live a long, healthy, and meaningful life. Hi, I'm Vicky, and I'm your passionate fasting support coach. With fasting as a lifestyle tool, I've shed over 200 pounds and kept it off without any surgery, diet fads, or gimmicks. And I am confident you can also achieve all your goals with this powerful lifestyle tool. If you're ready to tap into history's oldest healing modality for yourself, I encourage you to check out my services at thefastingfocusedlifestyle.com. I appreciate you for joining me on this week's episode, and I look forward to sharing some valuable fasting support with you after this short ad break. Thank you. To start, let's rewind. Let's go way back in time, before there were grocery stores, before there were apps that told you when you needed to eat, what you needed to eat, and way before breakfast was considered the most important meal of the day. I want you to imagine a time when food was not guaranteed. Our ancestors didn't have pantries or refrigerators. They didn't have 6 meals a day. They simply ate when there was food, and they fasted when there wasn't. And you know what? They didn't just survive that way. They thrived. Their bodies learned how to go without food and actually use that space to heal, repair, and grow stronger. This is what we've come to know now as autophagy, and this is where your cells begin that cleaning up process of damaged parts, misfolded proteins, and recycling them for renewal. But this is not new. Your ancestors already knew how to do this. So let's go way back in time to ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, about 5,000 years ago or so. Fasting then was used for purification. And people believed that abstaining from food allowed the body and spirit to reconnect. It was part of rituals and medicine and spirituality. But then in ancient Greece, and Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said to eat when you're sick is to feed your sickness. And that's pretty profound if you think about it. And he encouraged fasting for physical healing, but also for tremendous mental clarity. And he absolutely was not alone. There were many philosophers like Plato, Socrates, and more who practiced fasting to improve their focus and spiritual strength. And you see this around the world, that fasting wasn't used as punishment. It wasn't restriction. It was power. It was a way that we could go inward to listen, to reset, and to gain perspective. So talking about faith and fasting, because, this part is often overlooked, nearly every major world religion incorporates fasting. But it's not as a diet. It's not for weight loss. It's more for connection. And you see this in Judaism with fasting observed on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, deep reflection, accountability, recommitment to faith. And it's known for a sacred pause for renewal in the body, mind, and spirit. Fasting is a way to humble the self, to open space for the divine presence. You also see it in Christianity with fasting woven throughout the scripture, and Jesus fasting for 40 days in the wilderness before beginning his public ministry. in his time for deep soul preparation. And the Lent season continues this tradition for millions as a time of prayer and reconnection to God's will. And early Christians often fasted before important decisions and spiritual rites. And you also see this in Islam, Ramadan, centered around daily fasting from sunrise to sunset, as that physical and spiritual detox. It teaches you that self-restraint with gratitude and empathy and that closeness. And Muslims report increased clarity and serenity during this time, as well as that stronger community ties throughout nightly gatherings. You also see it in Buddhism, as fasting is often used to break that attachment that we have to the material world, where monks and spiritual seekers will fast to quiet that desire that we have, to deepen that inner awareness. So it's not about punishing the body, but more about freeing the mind. You also see it in Hinduism, where it incorporates those regular fasting days tied to those lunar cycles and spiritual observances. Devotees will use their time to cleanse the body, uplift the spirit, and honoring that rhythm of nature. And I feel this is beautiful, that these traditions aren't all saying the same thing, but they're using fasting as a way in, a way to pause, reflect, surrender, and listen. And this is not a coincidence. It's a collective wisdom that has been passed down for thousands of years. So when someone tells you that fasting is too extreme, or oh my gosh, it's so dangerous, I hope you take a moment to remind yourself that for centuries, okay, fasting was a sacred offering, and it's a way to nourish the soul by stepping back from constant consumption. As we know, somewhere along the way, we forgot. We stopped seeing fasting as natural and sacred, and instead we started seeing hunger as something to fix immediately. We went from eating when we were hungry to eating when the clock said we had to, and we developed those habitual hunger pangs. We went from honoring our hunger and rest to fearing them. Our modern food culture, especially post-1950s, they began to sell us that idea of convenience and comfort and constant access. And we were told that we needed to eat 3 square meals and multiple snacks during the day and protein bars and energy every few hours, and skip a meal? Oh no, that's too radical. You're feeling hunger? That must mean something was wrong. Meanwhile, those ultra-processed foods, you know the ones, they flooded the shelves, sugar crept into everything, and eating became entertainment or a pacification of emotions, thoughts, feelings, all that stuff. I've been there, and chances are if you're listening, you know the drill too. It was an escape, it was a reward, and those corporations, they profited from our confusion. We became scared of that silence, even inside of our bodies. And I remember how loud my own cravings used to feel, and how I constantly searched for what I thought would make me feel better. But you know, it never did. It wasn't until I turned down that volume and I let the quiet stillness in. And for me, fasting is still that stillness. It's that return to the quiet. This is the kind that your body deeply remembers, but it hasn't heard in many years. Starting my fasting lifestyle and really getting consistent with it was when I was allowing myself, for the first time throughout many previous weight loss attempts, to actually hear what my body was saying. There was no yelling. It wasn't desperate. It was an inner wisdom that I just leaned into. I started noticing when I was truly hungry versus when I was emotionally triggered. I saw and felt the difference between a craving and a need. I experienced so much mental clarity that truly felt spiritual, and I still feel that to this very day. A quiet confidence, it came from willpower, but remembering my own bodily, natural, instinctive rhythm, tuning into that. Super, super powerful for me to uncover within myself. I've seen this so often in my clients too. They start fasting thinking it's simply about the weight loss. And soon enough, they are sleeping better, thinking more clearly, feeling in control, more at peace, having that reconnection with that inner wisdom and knowledge. Your body doesn't want to fight you. It wants to work with you. And I feel that fasting lets you rebuild that relationship gently, compassionately, with the deep trust, love, and respect that your body deserves. You stop outsourcing that authority to decide. You can come home to yourself and instinctive decisions and behavior for what you know is right. I firmly believe with every cell in my body that fasting will teach you that rest is productive. Fasting will teach you that hunger is not an emergency. It's that hunger pang is a learned habit, and you don't have to live at the mercy of those cravings. I believe fasting is so powerful because it's so simple, it's accessible, and it is all yours. If this message is reaching you right now, maybe it's not a coincidence. Maybe it's because you're ready. Maybe you felt like you're ready to stop chasing those shiny quick fixes and fads and return to something that's been with you all along. Fasting is not about proving anything to anyone else. It's really about letting go. Letting go of the noise, letting go of the pressure, and letting go of the belief that you always have to be doing something, fixing something, or eating something. You're not broken. I thought I was broken for so long. You're not. You're really not. Fasting will allow you to remember. And here's the part I always remind my clients of. You don't have to do this alone. It doesn't matter where you are in your life, in your journey, and what you've tried and what's worked and not worked in the past. Whether you're brand new to fasting or dabbling or feel unsure, you don't have to do this alone. I'm here, not to push you, not to guilt you, but support you in your own return. Because this is never about deprivation. It's about discovering your freedom. It's not about restriction. This is about resilience and building up your own inner strength, tapping into that inner wisdom. And you're absolutely not too late. You're exactly on time. And I believe in you, even if you don't yet. So here's what I want you to do. If this episode resonated with you, if you felt even the tiniest spark of maybe I can do this, I want you to, for a moment, hold on to that. What does that feel like? Because this is the beginning of something truly beautiful within you. So I want to encourage you to take that next gentle step. And it might be listening to another episode of the Fasting Focused Lifestyle podcast. It might be reading a blog post or looking out for more inspiration. I want to encourage you to notice and take inventory of that stillness between meals. What does that inner wisdom say and speak to you? Try reaching out to me, because I would love to hear where you're at, what you're working through, and where you want to go. You don't have to have it all figured out. You only have to start. You've got today. When you're ready, head over to thefastingfocusedlifestyle.com. You'll find free resources, blog post, my story, and ways that you can get support with me if you're ready for genuine support that feels like connection and conversation without being lectured or spoken down to. Until next time, I want you to give yourself space to breathe and remember that you're doing better than you probably think. And again, as always, I believe in you, even if you don't. The Fasting Focused Lifestyle Podcast. Copyright 2025. The information given within this podcast is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult your doctor before starting any weight loss method. Thank you.